This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Welcome back to Chapter 3 of Write Your History, Transform How You See Your Story. In this episode, titled Reframing Failures, Transform Your Worst Moments, we'll explore how those tough times and setbacks can actually be stepping stones for personal growth. So, grab a cozy spot and let's dive in. Right after a major failure, your brain quietly releases the same chemical it uses for rewards. In that moment, one tiny choice, how you explain the failure to yourself, can send you toward a breakthrough or into a spiral you'll still feel months from now. Most of us were never taught what to do in that critical moment after things go wrong. School graded outcomes, not interpretations. Workplaces often praise flawless execution, not honest postmortems. So we learn to treat setbacks like verdicts on who we are, instead of clues about what to try next. Yet researchers keep finding the same pattern. People who stay curious about their worst moments don't just feel better, they literally extract more usable data from the exact same event. The key shift is moving from, "Why am I like this?" to, "What is this trying to teach me?" That's where tools like growth mindset framing, cognitive reappraisal, and self-compassion come in. They're not about sugarcoating or pretending it didn't hurt. They're about turning a painful result into a sharper lens, so each misstep secretly funds your future competence. Most people run 3 unhelpful default scripts after something goes wrong. The first is the prosecutor. You scan the scene only for evidence that you're guilty of not being good enough. The second is the escape artist. You minimize, distract, or move on so fast you never learn anything. The third is the historian. You treat this one setback as proof that this always happens or never works. Research-backed reframing doesn't mean denying pain. It means gently interrupting these scripts long enough to ask better questions, specific, behavioral, and future-focused, instead of global, personal, and permanent. If those 3 scripts are your defaults, reframing is about installing 3 new ones that can actually run your life. Script 1. The scientist. Scientists don't take failed trials personally. They get curious about conditions. When something goes wrong, instead of, "I blew it," think, "I just ran version 1.0 of this experiment. What exactly did I test?" That might mean listing 3 specific variables: timing, preparation, and communication, or audience, format, and energy level. The goal isn't to comfort yourself. It's to turn a hazy disappointment into testable hypotheses. This is how you start getting the kind of detailed feedback that spikes learning-related dopamine instead of shame. Script 2. The coach. A good coach sees the same mistake you see, but talks to you differently about it. They zoom in on behaviors, your follow-through dropped in the last quarter, and immediately connect them to a next rep. Let's drill that under pressure. Try writing a brief coach's note to yourself after a setback. 1 sentence naming what actually happened, 1 sentence on what was in your control, and 1 sentence on the next drill. It feels awkward at first, especially if your inner prosecutor is loud. But over time, this becomes a faster, kinder way of restoring momentum. Script 3. The archivist. The historian script exaggerates patterns. The archivist quietly keeps receipts. Instead of, "This always fails," the archivist notes, 2 big presentations went badly this quarter. 3 went well. Here's what differed. This is the mindset behind companies that run serious failure debriefs and then see clear jumps in future success. You're building your own personal database of what I've actually tried and what happened, so you can stop arguing with a vague narrative and start iterating on real evidence. One analogy to keep in mind: a burned dinner doesn't mean you're bad at cooking. It means you just got a very clear data point about your oven, your pan, and your timing. Underneath all 3 scripts is a quiet but radical assumption. Your worst moments are not the end of the story. They're draft pages. Your job isn't to love them. It's to read them closely enough that the next chapter can't help but be better written. A practical way to test these new scripts is to run them on very specific, low-stakes moments. Say you send a message in a group chat that lands with silence. Old habits might rush in. Social prosecutor, social escape artist, social historian. Instead, try the scientist. What did I actually test here? Tone, timing, audience? Maybe you notice you sent a long, serious note in the middle of a silly thread. Now the coach. Next time, I'll ask a short question first, then share the longer thought if there's interest. Or take a side project that stalls. The archivist version of you doesn't label it abandoned, they record, paused after week 3, energy dipped when I stopped meeting others working on similar things. That single line can shape your next design. You bake in accountability from day 1. Over time, these tiny relabels accumulate into a very different internal history, one where misfires are raw material, not closing arguments. As schools and workplaces shift toward productive failure, your personal history starts to look less like a permanent record and more like a lab notebook. In a world where AI handles the obvious answers, the scarce skill becomes calmly testing better questions, especially when things go wrong. Treat each botched launch, awkward conversation, or missed chance as a tiny pilot study in how you operate. Over time, those small postmortems compound into a private playbook no algorithm can copy. Your past missteps don't need erasing, they need better captions. Treat today's stumbles like drafts you'll revisit with a highlighter, not a shredder. Over time, those tiny rewrites shape a different self-portrait, less courtroom, more workshop. Your challenge this week: when something goes badly, add one line to its caption that begins, "Next time, I'll test." This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow!